most alive. She doesn't just exist. She knows she's living well. It seems as if her life is better and getting better every single day. Sure, she has her struggles launching her own new CD and getting her name out to be recognized. She has countless people to tell her so. In fact, of defeat, she persisted too. She never quit. She would have been easier to stay in her old job, and yet it would have been tremendously unfulfilling. Kathy paid the price through her commitment to live her dreams. She ultimately made her dream come true. Samantha and Kathy both had dreams and visions for their respective futures. Kathy took action and fulfilled her dreams. Samantha did not. The difference between the two is that Kathy had the confidence to put her plan into motion and take action. Samantha lacked the confidence, but the techniques Kathy practiced, combined with attitudes and beliefs she and other successful people hold while they pursue their dreams. These can be learned and put into use. Most successful people may not consciously be aware of these techniques, but it is subliminally applied techniques like these that can help you, and like them, achieve their intended results. Put it into action. Put it into action. Confidence comes by finding out what specifically you want and making a plan to get it and putting your plan into action. If you're doing well, ask yourself, how is it that you're doing so well? And consequently, you will know how to apply yourself and do it even better. And if you haven't been getting the results that you want, evaluate what you're doing wrong. Adjust your behavior accordingly and do things differently. As much as I'd like to say that all you have to do is incorporate these mental techniques into your life and get confidence, the truth is that unstoppable confidence comes from doing. Unstoppable confidence comes from doing. These mental techniques will help you out. Guaranteed. The most confident people out there are confident because they have proven to themselves over and over again that they have reasons to be confident because they have succeeded it so many times. They're people with the deepest parts of their minds, bodies, and souls that they are capable of being doers. The process of gaining confidence requires action. The goal contract that you set is preceding sections. It's going to fulfill itself. You will need to do something. Only taking action can give you the undisputed real confidence that you desire and deserve. Factor 7. Motivation. Motivation, another key to being such a go-getter, and how you motivate yourself. Do you motivate yourself with pleasure or with pain? Do you think about all the excellence of your life? Think about all the excellence or all the trouble that you want to avoid. You motivate yourself in one of those ways, and the only way from which one you know. Now, only you know which one. Are you moving towards the goals, or are you moving away from problems? Methods of motivation. Don't move away from problems. Move towards goals. Methods of motivation. Both strategies can be effective in certain contexts. For example, trial lawyers often use pain avoidance strategies in order to construct strong cases for their clients. They seek to minimize damages from the opposing attorneys might do to inflict by creating a strong counter-arguments. Again, for example, trial lawyers often use a pain avoidance strategy, which is in order to construct strong cases for their clients. They seek to minimize any damages that our opposing attorney might try to inflict by creating a strong counter-argument. The strategy of being pleasure motivated can be equally effective. In fact, a majority of the most successful people who have close family relationships, massive financial success, and career satisfaction have motivational strategies drawing on their own pleasure principle. You may have already realized which motivation style you predominantly utilize. It's having unstoppable confidence, and I encourage you to focus mostly on having positive motivation strategies, allowing you to seek better things in your life. The most successful people have the positive motivation, and if we want the same results, then naturally we should follow suit. The value of negative motivation. While having strategy to move towards excellence can be beneficial in certain circumstances, there's times you can also benefit by having a strategy that moves you away from pain. Since we all have to move towards pleasure and away from pain, we are always motivated by some degree by one or the other, sometimes by both. Because I wanted to get this book done in a timely manner, not only did I commit myself to moving towards the pleasure of having the book published, but I also instituted monetary fines of myself of not meeting my writing goals. After I began using the pain avoidance motivational, my efforts skyrocketed, and I became tremendously more productive. As you can think about it, I've applied this. You can think to see all the ways from which you can utilize towards pleasure, moving towards pleasure, and away from pain, motivation methods in your life. Now, when you set up your away from pain strategy, make your negative incentives something more slightly annoying, but not a catastrophe. Just in case some unforeseeable event leaves you unable to achieve your outcome, your strategy ought to be proportionally to a magnitude of the goals that you have set. Here's an example. If you're on a diet and you have a piece of cake, you obviously wouldn't punish yourself for fasting for the next rest of the week. You would be ridiculous. You would want your pleasure rewards and pain punishments to be commensurate with your goal. Instead, you eat some chocolate cake while you're on a diet. You might figure out how many calories are ingested, and next time you work out, you'll just burn that many extra calories beyond your normal workout. Make it a habit to stay motivated. It's a habit to stay motivated. It's a habit to stay motivated. Remember, people are becoming addicted to various things all over the time. Gambling, drugs, alcohol, a few of the many destructive addictions people have. The secret to aim for our addiction is a positive direction. People who have an unstoppable confidence have it because confidence is a positive habit of theirs. Confidence is a positive habit that they got. What makes the difference in our lives is equally of the habits we form. Each of us have habits already. Let's empower ourselves to have only positive, life-affirming habits and addictions. Habits are tremendously powerful. Without them, there'd be so many decisions to make every single day, we'd easily go on with information overload, as if we weren't almost there already. Habits simplify our lives, making us so we don't always have to think about what we want to do. We just do it. And that's why it's critical to develop good habits. On your goal contract, make it one of your goals to develop a confidence habit. Make it another goal to pay attention as you become more and more confident and evaluate your progress. Keep a confidence journal. I strongly recommend that you keep a confidence journal so you can see just how far you've come. By the time you fully are aware of it, you'll have unstoppable confidence. You'll review your journal, and naturally you'll be amazed to discover how differently you think and feel. By regularly reviewing your journal, you will also be able to immediately correct yourself so that you can have more confidence in the present and stay motivated towards your future goals. In your journal, feel free to jot down notes, specific techniques from things in this book that you will utilize in the next interaction to cause you to be even more confident. Factor 8. Momentum. Momentum is very valuable for increasing the confidence level. Momentum. One of the Newton's law of physics states that the object at rest tends to stay at rest unless it is acted upon by an outside force. Similarly, the object of motion tends to stay in motion. Applying the same law to confidence about if you are at rest, you may be a bit difficult to begin increasing your confidence. However, after overcoming the initial resistance, for the rate from which you gain confidence in yourself will soon accelerate. For people who have unstoppable confidence, it's easy to accelerate the rate from which you gain confidence. Stop for a moment and take a survey of how much momentum that you have in your life. Are you in motion? Are you out there making it happen? Are you going a little slower? Only you can honestly judge this for yourself. And do you need to crank it up a notch? No matter where you are, you can always increase your momentum. The best way to do this is by starting small. As you continue to take small steps each day, you draw closer and closer to your goals. The small things add up, and it's pretty soon you'll be leading your life in the way of your dreams. After you're at the top of your mountain, having fulfilled all your goals, you can look back and you can say, wow, what you've done, and marvel on how all those small actions you took led up to this massive success. These small actions can be any number of things. They can be simple steps to educate yourself on the goals from which you're in your sights, buying books, attending seminars, and so on. The way I become a full-time, real-life estate investing entrepreneur was by subscribing to the aforementioned strategy. I learned a branch of real estate investing called creative real estate investing, and it requires neither money nor credit, because when I started I had neither, and when I did, to allow me to go fulfill full-time into the business was I had to read a lot of books, attend a few seminars in real estate, and made some offers on houses each week, and made calls to sellers after every single day, and work every day. Every day you are either moving towards your goals or you moving away from them. Personally, I would like to always be moving towards my goals. Momentum is infinitely powerful, and you can make it work for you or against you. So make it work for you. Factor 9. Commitment. Commitment. When people commit themselves to their destiny, they go for it, full tilt. Consequently, to achieve their goals, master motivational speaker Anthony Robbins says, Success is cutting off all of your options for failure. And as you realize what you're specifically wanting out of your life and decide that you're willing to pay that price to achieve it, you must be willing to commit yourself and cut off all options that lead to anything less than achieving your goal. Commitment is very powerful in fulfilling your dreams. Many people say, don't burn your bridges. It's just the opposite. I say, learn to burn and burn very well. Find out what you want to do, commit yourself 100%, and then burn away any options for failures. And ask yourself about all the excuses that might prevent you from accomplishing the goal. And after you do that, go through the torch of each bridge so that the only options is success. And because you've committed yourself to that result, when I left my corporate job as an engineer to a major semiconductor company, I committed myself mentally, emotionally, spiritually to living the lifestyle of my dreams by burning out all of my bridges, all of my ties to the company, potentially for getting my job back instantly vanished as options, potentially for getting my job back instantly vanished as options. Even if I went back to begging for my job, no job would be available to me. Success became the only option. You could do the same thing with your goal. Decide what you want, commit to it, and systematically burn all the bridges that might be standing in your way. Section 2. Gaining Momentum. Chapter 5. Confidence is a process. It's not what happens to you what determines how far you will go in life. It is how you handle what happens to you. Zig Ziglar. Confidence is not a thing, it is a process. You may still been thinking of confidence as something that you either have or do not have, but that's not the case. Calling something confidence is actually a misnomer. There's only such a thing as acting confident or behaving in a confident way or thinking confident thoughts. The same goes for any emotion, be it fear, sadness, depression, or anxiety. None of these are actual things. They are all results of processes, sequences of thought that you run in your mind. Up until now, you may not have been aware that you were doing this, but the vital point to realize is that you have complete control over these processes. You can decide whether mental processes are useful or which are not. And if they are useless, you can stop, interrupt, and banish them. By changing your language, you change your life. As we saw in the introduction, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, shows how language, both verbal and nonverbal, affects your mind. The language that you use to describe what you are feeling impacts your feelings tremendously. It is your knowledge and this awareness of these processes that gives you the power over them. When somebody says he or she is depressed, that person has done is built in the notion into his or her mind of that very being. People can't be depressed all the time. If they were, they wouldn't call it depression. It'd just be their normal state of being. Instead, people who consider themselves depressed should be saying, I run a process through my mind that causes me to experience certain feelings that I have collectively labeled as depression. The same goes for anxiety. Releasing the past. Think about who you were in the past, and who cares if you were shy, if you weren't confident in the way that you wanted to be. The past is behind you. There's nothing that you can really do about it now, and the best thing you can do is learn from it and behave differently in the future. To the end. And to that end, I want you to forgive your former self, being shy of not acting confident in the past. So often, people spend their valuable time and energy kicking themselves for the time and opportunities that they lost as a consequence of being shy. To stop now before you read any further. So stop now before you read any further. And if you were unconfident or shy in the past, forgive yourself now. Release all those feelings of negativity and frustration and anything bad you might have against your shy former self. Because that version of you is over. We're going to learn from the past and we're going to move on. Get rid of negative emotions. Getting rid of negative emotions. Let's begin to blow out all the negative emotions. A great place to interrupt and banish those useful thoughts processes is to consider the language that you use to describe them. Let's just say if you feared public speaking, you would have described this fear as if you say, I have a fear of public speaking. You are, in a sense, taking ownership of something that is just a mental process. What if you were to describe what is really happening and say, well, when I think about public speaking, I run a process in my mind that I have labeled as fear. How much does this change the things for you? How much better do you feel knowing that what you previously described as a fear of public speaking is really just a process that you can reverse? Beginning now to notice how you've been describing other negative emotions. Have you been saying anything like, I always get nervous when I talk with strangers, or talking to customers makes me anxious. I just feel depressed, or instead saying, I feel sad. Describe yourself for what's really going on. I choose to think in a certain way that results in my feeling sad or when I encounter a certain set of circumstances. It may sound a bit hokey at first, but as you continue to think about it and really dig into the meaning of that sentence, you will begin to gain a sense of how truly liberating this is. Add positive emotions. Now, after taking control of these processes, insert a positive emotion in place of the negative one. I have absolute confidence in public speaking. Try that one out. The negative processes it serves you. And if you catch yourself running in these negative processes, interrupt it inside of your mind and yell, stop. Make it a habit to stop the negative process and automatically start the Chapter 5, Confidence is a Process. Part 2, Gaining Momentum. If not, what happens to the bitch better have my money voice to suit you. Congratulate yourself when you stop the negative processes and praise yourself when you start a confident process, because you get more out of what you reinforce. Praising yourself gives you the incentive to run the resourceful process. Naturally, you'll be more likely to do it again in the future. After all, you should treat yourself well. Some people have negative internal voices nagging at them all day. How awful would it be to live like that? Remember, the only person with whom you spend all your time with is yourself. So you might as well have a great rapport with yourself. Also, don't forget to congratulate yourself whenever you step outside of your comfort zone. Celebrate the successes and rewards and reward yourself accordingly. Consider the example of Janet, a rookie salesperson. Janet finds herself saying, talking to customers is scary. It's frightening to me. I feel fear when I go out and ask them to purchase my product, and I don't know what to do. What is occurring here is Janet has given up her personal power of using disempowerment language. And if we were to reward her language in a way that would allow her to easily change her perception of the situation, the translation would be, well, according to me right now, talking to the customers causes me to experience a certain emotion that I describe as scary. I choose to allow my customers to frighten me and feel something that I label as fear when I ask them to purchase my product, and I don't know what to do yet. Here is what Janet can do to immediately gain control of her emotions. Append, according to me at this time, onto every one of her sentences. This forces her to acknowledge that what she is describing is not absolute truth. It's not etched in stone for all time. According to me at this time, it's not the absolute truth. Whenever there is an unwanted emotion, like fear or guilt or anxiety, she must describe the emotion with the following phrase. Well, I choose to experience a certain emotion by doing something inside of my mind that causes me to experience a set of pictures, sounds, feelings that I collectively have labeled as an emotion. This requires Janet to take fixed emotion and turn back into a process. It is also demonstrates that she is the one in control and of that process. When she scratches or catches herself using the disempowerment language, after she restates it using the guidelines above, she must empower herself by using sentences that state how she will behave in the future. An example: although I have done this in the past, I wonder how quickly I can find myself becoming more relaxed and confident when I go to ask customers to purchase my products. Now, as you would go through this example and see how it's done, you will realize that you could do it too. Unwanted emotions exercise. The unwanted emotions exercise, it's time. It's now time for you to think of 5 unwanted emotions and context them with which you experience those emotions. While you do that, become cognizant of the language that you are using to describe what you really do to experience those unwanted emotions, and think of emotions that would best fit in their place after you rid yourself of the unwanted ones. Following that, do the exercise of changing your current language and adding in more empowering language. Remember, what you do to change your language is what you'll do to change your life. Throughout the rest of this book, you'll be learning many more effective, simple ways to use language and many more mental processes that will give you unstoppable confidence. Chapter 6. Your beliefs and how they affect you. If you develop an absolute sense of certainty that powerful beliefs provide, then you can get yourself to accomplish virtually anything, including those things that other people aren't even certain are possible. Anthony Robbins. The next step is to take a close, hard look at our beliefs and to find out what they really are and what we really want out of life. Your current beliefs realized. Pause for a moment and consider everything around you. Everything that you have, everything that you lack stems directly from beliefs of yours. Similarly, all of your experiences that you've had and all of those experiences yet to be had are because of your beliefs. Beliefs are pervasive throughout our areas of life. They influence what we do and how we do it in any extraordinary degree. Your quality of life depends upon the quality of your beliefs. The more useful and empowering the beliefs you hold, the more success you will attract. Understanding why we have beliefs and, more importantly, how can we consciously change them is the most important of the key precepts of NLP. Beliefs are very influential in our lives. They have the ability to spur us into action and fulfill our dreams, or to keep us stuck in a mediocre situation. The difference that makes the difference is the quality of your beliefs. By observing a person's actions, you can deduce what beliefs he or she holds dear. If someone has a successful and happy relationships, you can deduce that he or she believes strongly in commitment to his or her partner. If someone has well-adjusted children, you can deduce that parents believe in taking pride in being good parents. If someone is fit and muscular, you might as guess that this person has a firm belief in health and fitness. How beliefs are formed. As we go through our lives, each of us gains different sets of experiences, learns to derive meanings from them. These lessons go long ways towards forming our beliefs. We acquire beliefs not only through our own experiences, but through and also learning from authoritative figures in our lives. These people have a way of passing on our lives and beliefs to us. Usually, when we are young children, the authoritative figures are our parents or school teachers. During this period, we do not consciously filter out what we don't want to believe in or try to determine whether a belief is empowering to us. Since they are authority figures, we simply adopt their beliefs as if they were uncontestable facts. And this is useful since there's so much for children to learn, yet sometimes the same well-meaning authority figures passes on a less than beneficial belief. As adults, however, we should realize that this is a better way, which is to adopt beliefs based on their utility to us. Ask yourself whether a particular belief serves you. If so, keep it. If the belief keeps you stuck in a station of your life where you've already outgrown it, then get rid of that belief and replace it with a more empowering belief. You can learn something from each and every person that you encounter, whether it's something positive that you want to incorporate into your own life or something negative that you want to avoid. When you find what that someone has as far as empowering beliefs in a certain area, you can adopt those beliefs for your own. Similarly, if someone tries to pass a limited belief onto you, you can filter that one right out. Consistently remain aware of your beliefs and about certain things in different contexts. For example, you can wear a rubber band around your wrist and snap it every time you catch yourself uttering something less than empowering. This will cause your mind to associate that belief with pain. And since the mind wants to avoid pain at all costs, eventually you eliminate that belief. Make it a habit to eliminate the beliefs that you notice tend to be useless or that are holding you back. Make it a habit to believe even more strongly in the empowering ones. Sometimes people mislabel their feelings and create faulty beliefs. For example, if someone gets excited before making a sales pitch and mistakenly labels the feeding as fear, this person may create a belief that selling is always going to be scary. The next time he goes out to sell, he will be even harder for him to sell, to perform at his optimum level, since he believes he's about to get scared. That's a belief that should clearly be lost. Pay close attention to how you label your emotions, because that will determine whether you create useful beliefs or useless ones. The structure of beliefs. Beliefs are structured in one of two ways, meaning or causality. Meaning or causality. When you either meaning or causality language explained below, you'll know someone is sharing his or her beliefs with you. A person finds it useful to listen for signs of other people's beliefs in case they have a more empowering belief one than the one you currently hold. So listen to people's beliefs. If they do, I know that I can replace my beliefs with theirs. Using the same idea, if I notice that they hold beliefs that I find less than useful to myself, I simply respect their belief and avoid adopting them as my own. Meaning beliefs. The meaning beliefs reveal that someone's considering a definitive explanation of a given subject. Causality beliefs reveal what someone considers the definitive correlation between two subjects. Whenever you hear one of the following words, someone is imposing one of his or her beliefs. When someone says means, when someone says is, or causes, or because, means, is, causes, because. When you hear someone else's beliefs, it's important to realize that they are not necessarily true. Sometimes people forget the fact that it's accidentally take on one less than empowering beliefs as their own. This is especially true for people listening to authoritative figures. They may forget to question what purpose it serves by the beliefs the authority figure is trying to promote. The qualities of beliefs. Beliefs are certain qualities that allow them to be encoded as beliefs in your mind. Each belief, certain visual, auditory, emotional quality associated with it. See the appendix for a list of specific qualities. By altering any of these qualities, we alter the belief. By consciously directing our minds, we can deliberately manipulate these qualities in order to keep only the most empowering beliefs. Visual qualities of experiences. Movie stars are often adored to the point from which they are modeled by fans depicted in a larger-than-life. This reason is because they are literally presented to the audiences larger-than-life on a huge movie screen in theaters. In the same way, you think about certain things that though are viewing them on a mental movie screen. These things will seem quite compelling. If you have something positive that you want to experience more vividly, you enlarge whatever you are visualizing, make it a movie screen size in your mind, and notice how the feeling becomes more intense. You can make the belief even more intense by making it brighter in your mind, picturing it being closer. It's just like switching seats to move the front row in a movie theater. When you visualize a belief or a memory as a brighter and close, you will experience the feeling as much more intense. The reverse is also true. If you want to make something less powerful, you can visualize it being small, dark, and far away, and to listen to intensity even further. This can make the picture of what you're thinking about grainy, black and white. And though you are viewing it on the ancient television screen, high-definition color movies are more compelling, and they inspire people in ways that black and white movies cannot. Remember, make all the positives in your life big, bright, close, and colorful. Push away all the negative in your life into a small, dark, far away, black and white. People often encode their experiences to make the negative ones big and glaringly bright, while their positive experiences are small and much less vivid. Doing this will give people more negative dispositions because the negative images are so compelling in their minds. Deliberately taking charge of your own mind means encoding your experiences and beliefs in the most useful way. Auditory qualities of experiences. Just as visual qualities experience the beliefs affect their intensity, so do the auditory qualities. Going back to a movie theater analogy, people have more intense experience with the sound is loud. Engulfing them in stereo surround, a crystal clear bass reverberates with their bodies. Contrast the idea with a movie theater that has a low volume monotone sound that constantly interrupted by a popping static. The latter kind of sound is much less compelling than the former. Consequently, there is much less feeling associated with it. Listening to a movie in a theater with a weak sound is a completely different experience than going to a theater that has a powerful sound. We can deliberately alter our experiences and power of our beliefs by altering the sound qualities associated with it. By turning the volume up and down, changing the location or pitch of the sound, we can experience feelings differently. Emotional qualities of experience. By altering the visual and auditory qualities of our beliefs and experiences, we change the feeling associated with them. If you want excellent feelings, you need to see and hear excellent sights and sounds. Now you need to understand how to deliberately change your memories, experiences, beliefs. You can practice making your positive memories even better. Your negative memories more neutral, and very powerfully lock in your most empowering beliefs. How to change your beliefs for good using the NLP. Now we're going to take you what we've learned about beliefs in order to change them, perhaps faster and more effectively than you've ever dreamed possible. Bust the shy gene. In earlier chapters, we saw that there were really no such thing as being shy or having a shy gene. So the first belief that we will change is the belief that you are shy. You are going to take an old thought of self-esteem and images you have had about being shy and replace them with thoughts of images of being confident, moving through the world in a whole new way. Don't confine yourself into using this technique. Just one belief. You can use it for any beliefs that you have been holding, that have been holding you back. Use this method to change whatever beliefs you find less than glorious or less than resourceful. Read throughout the instructions a few times to familiarize yourself with what you are about to do. You may also want to get a partner to help you guide you through it. Someone who is supportive of your transformation, perhaps someone who has similar transformation journey. Your partner can read these instructions out to you, or you can simply take a note of these instructions and then close your eyes and then do it then. You have certain mental pictures, sounds, and feelings that are associated with beliefs. What we're going to do is change the structure of the belief and thereby change the belief itself. By altering the structure of the belief, we alter your mind and how your mind encodes it. The mind encodes powerfully. The mind encodes powerfully held beliefs differently from weakly held beliefs. First, we will find out how you doubt something, the way in which we encode doubting beliefs in your mind. Then we'll bring you back to the normal neutral state of being. Third, we'll discover from which way strong beliefs are encoded in the mind. We'll again bring you back to the normal neutral state of being. Finally, we will bring about a change in your beliefs. We will take your limited belief and turn it into a doubt. By doubting your limited belief, you will free yourself from it. We will then take a new and more empowering belief and lock it into your minds to be held strongly. Step 1. Discover how to doubt. The first thing you need to do is close your eyes and think of something that you've used to believe is that you believe no longer. For example, you might think about as a child you believed in Santa Claus, from which you no longer do. And as you recall the belief, become aware of everything you see that is associated with the belief. More importantly, Since you are paying attention to the structure of the belief, look at the different visual qualities of the belief and make note of them. Reading what you see, your belief that is no longer true but used to be. Answer these questions. Is it flat or three-dimensional? What size is it? Is it clear or out of focus? How bright is it? Your eyes still closed. Tune into the sound that's associated with a belief of yours that is no longer true. Listen closely and pay particular attention to the sound qualities as you answer the following questions. Do you hear a voice of doubt? Do you hear a voice of authority? Do you hear other sounds? How loud are the sounds that you hear? And step 2, break state. Open your eyes, take a deep breath, and name 3 different things in the room that will help you shift from a state of doubt back to your neutral state. You will even want to physically move around a little bit and helps you return to your neutral, normal state. Step 3, discover how you believe. Think of something that is absolutely true. Pick out something that you have no question about, that you believe 100% about to be true. Choose something simple like, the sun will rise tomorrow, or I need to breathe in air to live. We're going to elicit the same visual and auditory qualities in this powerful belief that we just elicited for the doubted belief. Just as you did before, when you think about this absolutely true belief, become aware of everything you mentally associated with it. Remember, since we're paying attention to the structure of the belief, pay attention to the structure of the belief, look at the different visual qualities of the belief, and make a note of them. Regarding what you see and your strongly held belief, answer these questions. Is it flat or three-dimensional? What size is it? Is it clear or out of focus? How bright is it? With your eyes still closed, tune in the sounds that are associated with this belief that are absolutely certain. Listen closely. Pay particular attention to the sound qualities as you answer the following questions. Do you hear voice of doubt? Do you hear voice of authority? Do you hear other sounds? How loud are the sounds that you hear? Step 4, break state. When you're done making note of all the qualities from which you see and hear, open your eyes, take a deep breath, name 3 different things in the room that will help you shift back to a neutral state. You may want to physically move around a little to help you return to your neutral, normal state. Step 5 is change the belief. Think of limited beliefs of yours. Since this book is about confidence, think of one that relates to your confidence or shyness. A good example is I can't go up and meet strangers easily. This belief that limits many people whose social and business lives would improve if they rid themselves of it. Once you've selected your limited beliefs regarding confidence or shyness, close your eyes and notice all the visual and auditory qualities of that belief. This is just what you've done in steps 1 and 3. After you've gotten the visual and auditory qualities of your belief, begin to change each and every visual auditory quality of your limited belief to match all the visual and auditory qualities of something that you used to believe but no longer do, an old belief. This process recodes your limited belief, transforming it into something that you no longer believe. Make sure the visual and auditory qualities of the limited belief match those of the old belief as precisely as possible. When you're done transforming that belief, open your eyes, take a deep breath, and reorientate yourself back into a neutral, normal state of being. Congratulations on removing a limited belief. Since nature abhors a vacuum, we will place an empowering belief in your mind where it is limited belief used to reside. To do this, think about something with respect to your confidence, that you believe it will improve your life. Now, as you close your eyes, think of what you want to fully believe. As you become aware of the visual and auditory qualities of your life, begin to change in each of its every quality to match precisely the visual and auditory qualities of one of your strongest absolute true beliefs. When you process it complete, you will think of this new empowering belief in the way that you thought of your absolute empowering belief in the same way that you thought of your other absolute true. Strongly held belief in step 3. Ensure the visual and auditory qualities of this new absolutely true belief and your previous true beliefs match up as much as possible. Again, when this process is complete, you will think of this new empowering belief in the same way that your thoughts of others are absolutely true. Strongly held beliefs in step 3. Ensure the visual and auditory qualities of this new absolutely true belief and your previous true beliefs match up as much as possible. Belief changing patterns. Number 1, close your eyes. Number 2, think about something that you used to believe was true but no longer do. Then, number 3, notice the visual qualities of the belief. Number 4, notice the auditory qualities of that belief. Number 5, notice all the emotional qualities of that belief. 6, open your eyes. Name 3 different things in the room to clear your mind. Number 7, close your eyes again. Number 8, think about limited beliefs that you have, such as I'm shy or I'm not confident. Notice all the visual qualities of that belief, all the auditory qualities of that belief. Notice all the emotional qualities of that belief. And then number 12, open your eyes and name 3 different things in the room to clear your mind. Finally, number 13, adjust your limited belief to resemble something you used to consider true but no longer do. And I encourage you to practice changing your beliefs and experiences. You'll be surprised how easy and effective it is. Use expectancy to your advantage. What you expect tends to be realized more often than you might think. Resourceful people have different beliefs from those who are not resourceful. Resourceful people expect to be able to find a way to achieve their outcome. They expect to be able to easily and naturally form a rapport with anyone they meet. When they want something to happen, they often go for it. And if they make a mistake, they learn from the feedback. These expectations tend to influence a resourceful person's outcome. Believing the following ideas will increase your interpersonal skills and personal effectiveness. When you meet people, you want to create rapport. Remember these beliefs. People automatically like you because you are a good person. You can easily and naturally meet anyone you choose. You can have instant rapport with anyone you choose using these techniques. You have a lot in common with any person you meet. You can learn something from each and every person you speak with. You may be thinking that these beliefs are not necessarily true, and if so, you would be correct. However, we're not out to get a result, not to logically prove what is or isn't, but above beliefs are using useful generalizations that will help you when you believe them. In all interpersonal relations, assume that you can get and maintain a rapport. Operate under the belief that you have far more in common with that person than not in common, and you will easily connect with him or her. Diffuse limiting beliefs with the power of question. The following method uses questions that are designed to break up limited beliefs. These questions help you reconnect with your confidence resources. Remember that you have confidence within you. You have confidence within you all times. You will have success. You will have successfully been confident in the past. The key is to summon the necessary confidence whenever you choose. Now, if you hesitate or behaving tentatively, ask yourself, what's stopping me from doing what I want? Once you have the answer to this question, you can transform the frame of mind, your internal dialogue, and your physiology into a state of confidence. If in fact you do find yourself acting shy, never beat yourself up over it. Remember that there's a positive intention behind every behavior. That means that the way you were acting served as a purpose to ultimately do some good in the past. Figure out what positive intention of your shy behavior is by asking yourself, what is the positive intention of this tentative feeling? Be silent and allow the genuine answer to pop up in your mind. When you get an answer, take a note of it and then remind yourself that shyness is an outdated way of behaving and that you will choose confidence from here on onward. Be good to yourself at all times. Never ask yourself a question like, why am I shy? Asking questions like that will only keep you stuck because your unconscious mind will come back to you with the answers about why you are shy, thus reinforcing the shyness even further. That's the last thing you want. You want to ask questions that reconnect you to your resources of confidence. Ask yourself, what would it be like if I were feeling unstoppably confident right now? How would it feel? How would you feel? Would you feel different? How would you look at the world as a supremely confident person? By merely answering the empowering questions, you will be forced to access a state of confidence, thereby meeting your desired outcome. Chapter 7, Unstoppable Confidence in Personal Relationships. Do unto others as they would like to have done unto them. The Platinum Rule. Interpersonal skills are fundamental to gaining unstoppable confidence. Simply knowing these interpersonal skills will dramatically increase your confidence. Because you know how people function, you will naturally be able to relate to anyone and everyone easily by the time you finish this book. The universal characteristics of friendship. Stop for just a moment and think about your best friend. You can probably picture that person clearly in your mind. As you hold onto that image, I want you to notice what it is specifically that you like about that person. Chances are the qualities that you like about your best friend are related to the following 3 universal characteristics that make people like one another. All friendships are based on these 3. All friendships are based on similarity, cooperation, and praise. Similarity. People like people who they perceive as being similar to themselves. You and your best friend have things in common. These things may include attitudes, beliefs, hobbies, goals, dreams. More likely than not, you like to do the same things. Furthermore, you and your best friend probably have similar dislikes as well. The similarity principle can be used to enhance your interpersonal relations and increase your own personal confidence. There's a distinction between true similarity and perceived similarity. True similarity is actually having something in common with someone, while perceived similarity is matching someone's behaviors. Example, mirroring. So, that his or her subconscious mind perceives you as similar. Both kinds of similarity can help you improve your interpersonal relations. See Part 4 for the exercise using perceived similarity. Cooperation. Cooperation. The next ingredient that ensures people will like each other is cooperation. It is the absolute necessity. Without cooperation, there can be no basis for friendship. People who cooperate with you, participate in activities with you, and generally agree with you are undoubtedly more likable to you than people who don't. If someone you consider your friend decides to stop returning your phone calls, starts canceling appointments on you, or is generally uncooperative, you would obviously be difficult to maintain the friendship with them, no matter how similar you are to this person. Praise. Praise is the third factor in making one person like another. The importance of praise is obvious. People like to be praised, complimented, and recognized for their achievements. At work, employees often become disgruntled, not because they are uncompensated well monetarily, but instead because their hard work goes unrecognized. Just a praise unites people in harmony, puts down insults, and divides peoples. It is much harder to like a person who puts you down than someone who consistently praises you. If your best friend did nothing but insult you, you would quickly dissolve that friendship. Perceiving others. How you perceive people will influence how they perceive you. If you love people and enjoy their company, that belief will impact your life tremendously. Again, if you love people and enjoy their company, the belief will impact your life tremendously. And on the flip side, if you dislike people and generally disdain their company, that belief will affect you in just the same way. The better you can get along with people, the higher quality of life you will lead. Intention. Let's discuss the concept of intention. Intention is the subtext of the interaction between people. The intention. If you intend to connect with someone before beginning to talk to them, him or her, you will project the intent of the person will unconsciously pick up on it, responding to you more positively than he or she may have otherwise. People want acceptance. They want to relax and be themselves, free of any judgment. When you set someone else's comforts as one of your own outcomes, that person will find him or herself automatically more comfortable in your presence. The person may not know why he or she feels relaxed around you, but he or she will feel it. A positive frame of mind. Do the following an experiment to reveal the influence of your frame of mind. For a week, make yourself believe that people are all unfriendly and don't like to meet you, and they don't like to meet new people. Imagine that they don't want to be bothered at all. After temporarily adopting this frame of mind, you go out each day, night, and week and try to strike up conversations with strangers, and it will be difficult because of your frame of mind. What the thinker thinks is the prover proves. The prover proves. Having these preconceived negative beliefs become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Once the week is over, purge yourself of that toxic frame of mind. The following week, adopt the belief that people are perfectly friendly and they love meeting new people, dynamic people such as yourself. Furthermore, recognize that you like to get to know new people yourself, and since you can learn something new from each and every person you meet, you can accept people for who they are, allow them to be themselves, and free themselves from judging them. After permanently adopting this frame of mind, you can go out each day or night or week and notice how naturally it is for you to converse with strangers. One of many beliefs is having a confidence is how other people are put in ease when you interact with them and the confidence with you. Again, one of many benefits of having confidence is how other people are put at ease when interacting with the confidence and the confident you. If someone is uptight and ill at ease, other people can sense it, and that may act correspondingly uptight. However, when someone is genuinely comfortable in being him or herself, others sense it as well, and consequently, it lets their guard down. While you do these experiments and see yourself on how influential positive frame of mind works and is, remember to have fun. Just go out and experiment, play and practice your new skills, adjust your behavior continually based on the feedback that you receive, and eventually you'll find yourself just where you want to be when you're meeting new people. Pitfalls to avoid. There are several pitfalls to avoid as you develop unstoppable, confident interpersonal relationships. As you develop your unstoppably confident interpersonal relationships, overcome intimidation. One thing that you may encounter on your journey to connect and click with other people is feeling intimidated and intimidation. Many of these things can cause a person to feel intimidated, including beauty, fame, fortune, social status, others. People possessing these qualities can seem intimidated. It is important to remember, though, that feeling intimidated, like shyness, fear, anxiety, and other emotions, is a result of mental process. Remember, who's in control? You are. If you ever find yourself feeling intimidated while dealing with someone, recognize the feeling as soon as you feel it, and by becoming aware of it and identifying it, you could do something about it. Take a few steps back and look into the picture. You are two people talking to and interacting. Take a few steps back and look at the big picture. You are two people talking or interacting in some fashion. It's really not such a big deal. The other person is simply a person the same way you're a simple person. When you strip away everything else, whoever it is that intimidates you puts their pants on the same way that you do. Remember, this will eliminate intimidation and help you build the unstoppable confidence within you. In terms of dating, some people always think that the object of their affection is way out of their league. In terms of dating, some people always think that the object of their affection is way out of their league. That is utter and complete nonsense. People are people. No one is below or above anyone else. Beautiful people who might intimidate others are simply human beings with beliefs, desires, values, hopes, dreams, fears, and goals like anyone else. When you think about it in that way, doesn't it make it much easier for you to interact with people? That everyone, and even beautiful people, they might be intimidated as well. They're simple human beings with beliefs and desires and values and hopes and dreams, fears, and goals like anyone else. Now, as you apply these ideas in your life, I think you'll find that it does. If I ever feel intimidated by someone, it's because I'm focused on the wrong attribute. All of us have extraordinary gifts. If others focus solely on our gifts, they might become overwhelmed and thus intimidated. We're all human beings and we all have much, much more in common than we have in differences. If I feel intimidated, it's because I'm not only dwelling on someone's extraordinary gift, but I'm also blowing that person way out of proportion. I'm totally exaggerating and making that person seem larger than life. A useful belief in dealing with someone who has a potential of intimidating you is to realize that you have at least something in common with every person that you meet. People have more in common than others think or even realize. Most people want to be happy, prosperous, take care of their families, enjoy their lives, and have freedom to pursue whatever they want. And when you keep these beliefs in your mind and when you talk to a person, you will discover the connection between you and the two are deeply as a result of your projecting that similarity to the other person. Beware of mind reading. The second pitfall in mind reading occurs when you pretend to understand someone's internal state without actually communicating with that person. People mind read often. It is almost always in their detriment. It is almost always to their detriment. Sometimes people will mind read about what others think of them. I know I've done it from time to time. You may have to. What someone thinks in his or her mind could be completely different from what you might think to be from reading off of that person. If a friend fails to call you back as a customer does not get back to you immediately. If a friend fails to call you back or a customer does not get back to you immediately, he or she may not be interested in you, or you project, or he or she may have just accidentally forgotten. There are many different potentials causing for everything, and the only way to verifiably know is to ask someone. For the next week, practice becoming aware of whether you're mind reading. If you're automatically presuming to know someone else's private thoughts, stop and ask yourself. Stop trying to presume someone else's private thoughts. Ask yourself, how do I know? Have I asked this person? Or has this person communicated this to me? Are there other possibilities from the way this person is doing a certain behavior? And when you are aware of this, and you are of that in the mind reading, stop at once. Fortunately, we can mind read in a positive way too. I know that I just told you that the mind reading is something less than useful, and it does not lead to good communications, with everyone running around you pretending to read other people's thoughts. However, when you mind read positively, it can actually be very useful. When I was overwhelming and overcoming my shyness, I had difficulty meeting strangers, and in a particular woman. I used to mind read and say, oh, she won't like me, she wants to be left alone, and this led me to be shy. Fear of rejection became incapacitated in my own shyness, and then I decided I'd had enough of mind reading negatively. I would never mind read someone negatively again, ever, for the rest of my life. Never, ever read somebody negatively, mind read negatively ever again. And then I decided I had enough from the mind reading, and from this point on, I would avoid mind reading. Or, if I was going to mind read, I would do it positively. Only positively. I figure if you're going to mind read, you might as well do it positively. And when I began to do this, my confidence immediately swelled up. I would mind read people from whom I wanted to meet, telling myself that these are their thoughts. Well, I hope that he, as in me, comes over and talks to me. I sure would like to meet a nice, friendly, easygoing guy right about now. How nice would it be for him to come over? When I thought of this, I was more often than not helped and to approach people and meet them. If you're going to use mind reading at all, use it to your benefit. Respond resourcefully to criticism. Now that you've learned to stop assuming people are speaking ill of us, we will learn how to respond resourcefully to criticism, and others have actually made it to or about us. This is a very useful tool in improving our interpersonal relationships. If someone is stepping off the beaten path and pursuing his or her passions, there will be criticism. Again, if someone's stepping off of the beaten path and pursuing his or her passions, there's going to be criticism. But it doesn't matter whether the person's criticizing you deliberately or wants to hold you back or not. The effect of the criticism can be the same either way, if you do not respond to it resourcefully. Usually criticism of someone is going after his or her dream signifies an element of jealousy or ignorance, and on the part of the critic. Otherwise, the critical person would be supportive and actually cheer you on. Recognize before you go after your dreams that you're putting yourself out there to potentially be criticized. Avoid letting that stop you. Instead, just understand that it may happen whether you warranted it or not. Whether it is warranted or not. Two resourceful responses to criticisms are first, ignoring it altogether. It's a good move. And the second, mining the criticism for valuable feedback. Make a distinction between the kinds of criticisms you receive and determine which response you would like to utilize. The first kind of criticism will be from the person who you are trying to tear you down in order to feel better about themselves. The other kind of criticism comes from people who mean well and do, but in fact they have good intentions of wanting you to improve. But remember, the people who treat you how you've taught them to treat you. Remember that people treat you how you've taught them to treat you. For people giving you destructive criticism, inform them that they need to correct their behavior. For people giving you destructive criticism, inform them that they need to correct their behavior. In order to respond resourcefully to criticism, there must be some sort of distance between you and the criticism so that you have time to digest it. As you listen to the criticism, imagine that you are surrounded by a thick glass barrier and absorbs any negativity or negative emotions from the criticism so that only the useful positive content of the message seeps through. Other people may see and hear things differently from you and therefore have good suggestions for you on how to improve, which is why you need to be able to receive positive, constructive criticism. Teach people how to give you good feedback. Good feedback comes from the form of a sandwich. The structure is praise for something done well, suggestions for improvement, and then some more praise for other things done well. When people use this sandwich, it helps actually. People use this feedback sandwich. The person receiving the feedback feels good while still getting useful ideas on how to improve. When giving constructive criticism, remember that the more specific the suggestions for improvement is, the more useful the suggestion will be. Again, when giving constructive criticism, remember that more specific the suggestion for improvement is, the more useful the suggestion will be. You got to be specific what you're trying to have suggestions of the improvement is on. The constructive criticism should center on how you improve next time. The constructive criticism should center on how you can improve next time instead of dwelling on it of what you did not do so well as far as this time around. Give others feedback in this way and expect the same from them. You'll be far more effective than you can even imagine. Again, the constructive criticism should center on how you can improve next time, Whatever you say as far as constructive criticism, never dwell on it ever. It's just how you can improve next time. And instead of dwelling on it, of what you did not do so well this time around. Give others feedback in this way and expect the same from them. You'll be far more effective than you can imagine. Show confidence in interactions. The following ideas will get you started in demonstrating unstoppable confidence. In these interactions with others, more techniques for creating better personal relationships are found in Part 4. The Platinum Rule. In dealing with people, many have heard the golden rule. Everyone heard of the golden rule. But how about the platinum rule? The golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. No, the platinum rule is do unto others as they would like to have done unto them. When you think about it, the platinum rule obviously makes more sense. If someone feels down and recognize it, you can proactively make that person feel wonderful. The magic of touch. People who are well-liked and confident put others at ease in their presence. One method they use is to put others at ease is to convey a warm feeling and the power of touch. People crave connection with other people. Touching and being touched by others, if applied correctly, can be a powerful way to make a connection. Whether it's a handshake or congratulatory pat on the back or a warm hug, people often respond to touch. As an example that demonstrates the power of touch, it is a study that was conducted with the waitresses. The researchers set out to determine how to touch would influence the tips the other waitresses earned. The first group of waitresses touched each customer while he or she ordered items off of the menu. The second group acted just as friendly, only they didn't touch the customers at all. The researchers found that the waitresses who touched the customers earned tips that were 50% higher than those of the waitresses who did not. What this shows is that the customers perceive the waitresses who touched them as more likable and open. Finally, a word of warning. You should apply touch judiciously and appropriately. Again, only judiciously and appropriately, never in a way that could be misconstrued as sexual or inappropriate. As with all things, use some common sense. Chapter 8. Overcoming Obstacles in the Path to Success. In every adversity, there is a seed of equal or greater benefit. Napoleon Hill. All the happiest, most fulfilled, most successful people realize that success is a process. It's a journey of who we become, not simply the end result that makes us all worthwhile. The achievement of the goal is sweet, but as with any goal worth achieving, there will likely be setbacks along the way. Viewing those setbacks in the right light can make the difference in your ultimate success. No such thing as failure. No such thing as failure. Thomas Edison did more than 10,000 experiments before he perfected the incandescent light bulb. Colonel Sanders, the founder of the chicken franchise KFC, got 1,009 rejections before someone bought his chicken recipe. When Sylvester Stallone of Rambo fame showed up in Hollywood, he went through more than 100 auditions before someone cast him in a small role. What all these people had in common was that they did realize that there is no such thing as failure. There's only results, and after you've been knocked down, the only thing that matters is that you get back up. As Thomas Edison was developing the light bulb, newspaper reporter came to interview him about his experiments that had failed. The newspaper reporter inquired as to when the inventor would give up after failing so many times, to which Edison retorted, "Never." The pressing newspaper reporter insisted, "But you've kept failing over and over," and Edison swiftly responded, "No, what you don't understand is that I have not failed. I've just found over 10,000 ways not to invent the light bulb." This is very true, and since he's learned from each previous experiment and made corrections based on his findings, masters become masters because they make more mistakes. The more mistakes you make, the better distinctions, small pieces of information you learn by doing, you'll get. The more distinctions you have, the more easily you will reach for your outcome. Think about that as it applies to your confidence and going after your dreams. Masters are excellent at fundamentals. They go back and ensure that they have gotten the basics down. If you at first are not successful, be thankful. Some of at least successful people are out there. They've had early successes and decided that there was no room for improvement. Therefore, they became complicated and stagnated. Compare this to people who fail royally the first times. These late bloomers have to develop skills to adjust their behaviors based on feedback. They tend to develop habits that lead them towards continual improvement, and as they develop these habits and begin to succeed, they eventually surpass the early bloomers in productivity. The 4 major causes of blunted progress. People stop short of achieving success for many different reasons, and being aware of what stops other people can help you prevent yourself from being sputtered out. Now let's continue on the road towards living your dreams. A lot of the reasons that prevent people from living their dreams are actually excuses. What I challenge you to do is systematically go through your life, kick out all the excuses, the crutches that you may have or been leaning on. Blow out the crutches permanently so that there can be no choice but success. This is one of the rare times of reducing your options will ultimately gain you more options in the future. Excuses are false options that will only hinder your progress. And since progress is vital to success, you mustn't let anything stand in your way. The 4 major causes of blunted progress is number 1, the fear of change. Number 2, fear of the unknown. Number 3, the fear of success. And number 4, the fear of failure. Fear of change. People are creatures of habit. A lot of us do the same things over and over again, as in every day we rerun. This can be good in some context. Habits simplify our lives. We don't have to consciously think about how to drive a car, open a door, use a computer every time we do so. On the flip side, habits can become detrimental to our well-being if they act too much on our habits. We can become automatons and forget to make conscious choices about what we really want to do. Becoming confident is the breach of habit that people may fear, since it involves an entirely new set of behaviors, attitudes, and values that differ from being shy. It is useful to believe that change is fun and easy. To change for the better leads to personal growth. Change for the better. Change for the better. Personal growth. And that lets you know that lets you know that you're really alive. It shows that you are really not stagnated. Sometimes at the start of a big change, it may be painful or seem to have negative effects. Always look on the bright side. Think long term. Dwell on how difficulty you experience in making the change can only help you down the line. Pretty soon you'll discover yourself doing these same difficult things automatically. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Fear of the unknown. Fear of the unknown is quite common. Even though it makes little sense to me, life inherently has become unknown. You just never know what's going to happen. You don't know what to expect all the time, and your life would be completely drained of spontaneity if you ever could. And you would never have any enjoyment. That wasn't mapped out beforehanded. Is this worth wasting your valuable time and energy contemplating on the unknown when you could just take it as it comes with an optimistic attitude? Of course. It's only natural to make provisions that ensure the worst case scenario in each situation does not happen. Although, if the worst case scenario should happen, you can always minimize the damages afterwards. This is the fundamental shifting in your mindset here. It's the difference between taking action to preventing or minimizing the worst case scenario and not taking action because you're worried about something bad might happen. It's important to avoid spending your time worrying and fearing the unknown. Instead, take action and increase your peace of mind. Think of life as an adventure or a game where you make up all your own rules play by play. And if you move through your life with a frame of mind like that, how much more exciting and fun would your life be? The fear of success. Some people subconsciously fear success. This fear paralyzes them, preventing them from taking a positive action. Successful people find ways to overcome this fear, and that's one of the reasons why they are successful. There's a myth that if you become successful, you have to move in a different neighborhood and lose all your friends, and the world as you know it will end. But if you subscribe to this theory, you are deluding yourself. Success comes in many forms: marital, spiritual, physical, mental, financial, and so on. And it is wonderful. Success is continually rewarding all of the people, and all the people should know that it's like to be successful and what it's like to be successful in their own right. Sometimes people shun success because they think it'll impose a higher standard on them and consequently put them with more pressures on them to perform consistently at the higher level. It's true there's a higher standard and that the higher standard is set, but who says you can't meet expectations once you've raised the bar? You should always expect your excellence out of yourself. You deserve to perform at a high level, no matter what the context. If you're merely